Today, we are going to talk about 4 different rumors that are floating around the car share industry right now. Some juicy stuff that I think you will definitely want to hear about and make sure that you understand, because this could affect your business. Before I get into that, click below, grab the 5 things you must do before starting a car rental business. It also comes with the Car Share Growth Guide, which gives you a city-by-city breakdown of which car share platforms are strongest in your area. Also, give this channel a like and a subscribe. I always appreciate that. What are some rumors that are floating around in the car share industry? I have many sources in this industry from different folks at different companies, different car share fleet owners, a variety of different people that I talk to on a regular basis. Some of this stuff I have to kind of hold under my vest. I can't tell you everything that I hear, but I will tell you some stuff that I think is interesting based on some conversations that I've had, and I know some of this stuff is not entirely off the record. So what I'll tell you is, number 1, I think that Hyrecar's platform and their website is planning to get rolled up and closed down by probably early 2025. It will likely be integrated into Getaround's booking system, and so all those customers will be migrated over into their booking app. So that will be an interesting change for the industry. There are tons of people on Hyrecar who are looking to rent Uber driver cars. What I would say is that from a host standpoint, this is probably good news for most of us. But if you are looking for long-term renters, you're going to have to find a new way. I do have information on that. You should email me, but some of the way of sourcing long-term renters is going to change relatively soon. So that is likely probably going to happen. Number 2, this is a juicy one, and I'm going to caveat this saying that I don't have firm evidence on this, but I will tell you that there are rumblings and talk about this. There's a chance that Turo may leave New York City in the same way that Getaround did, just because the cost of the regulations of doing business there are too expensive. So if you are running a Turo operation in New York City inside the 5 boroughs, I would tell you that there is a chance you may need to make alternative plans. Like I said, take this with a grain of salt, but I will tell you that that is something I've heard from a fairly high-level source in this industry, and I think it is certainly possible. That would have big implications for Turo hosts in that area. Third rumor, and I know this is a little more solid, Teslas are currently being beta tested in Getaround Europe, and they are likely to come over to Getaround America very soon, probably within the first quarter of 2025. This is good news for Tesla owners, because I would tell you that if you feel like Turo is overly saturated for Teslas, especially on the East Coast or on the West Coast, there is now a new option coming to put Teslas on Getaround. Knowing the clientele of Getaround, I think this will be a nice match for each other. I do think that their clientele is very kind of environmentally minded. You've got a lot of people in urban cities and urban centers like Boston, Chicago, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Atlanta, that are going to be very open-minded and willing to rent Teslas and EVs on those apps. So overall, I do think this will be a nice fit, and this is going to give another place for Tesla owners to rent their cars. All good news. Number 4, lastly, so we've talked a little before on this channel already about the 70-30 and 80-20 splits that are coming to Getaround with $1,500 and $3,000 corresponding deductibles. That is planning to roll out to all major markets probably by Q2 of 2025, I would think. I don't know the exact timeline on that, but I know that they are working on getting that out there pretty quickly. I do think this is going to be a really interesting component to see how this goes for all car share hosts. If you have 5 or 10 cars and you are able to put them on Getaround in major markets like Atlanta, Boston, Chicago, DC, San Francisco, Los Angeles, I think any of those markets are going to be really good places to try out this new split for Getaround, just because I think that that's been the missing piece with them, is just people need to see more money in their pockets. So I think this is going to be really interesting. I know that a lot of Turo hosts that have the ability to adjust their profit splits and typically go on more of a riskier side of things. And I think that's definitely an option that hosts are really going to like. So I'm very curious to see how the numbers shake out. I'm about to report on that pretty soon. But I do think this will be probably implemented nationwide, I would say by Q2 of 2025. So that's going to be a really interesting thing to watch in this industry, because we're going to get kind of a compare and contrast of how how the 70-30, 80-20 numbers shake out, especially once that starts in the spring when things start heating up and in the summer. I'm very curious to see if the revenue numbers will start coming out around $1,400, $1,500, $1,600 a month per car, because if it reaches that level, I would say that is a game-changing level for them and really could spell for a lot of interesting stuff happening in the industry next year. So we're only about 6 months away, I think, from seeing some really interesting things happen between Turo and Getaround. Obviously, Turo has historically dominated this fight over the last 10 years, but I do think that we're about to see some really interesting things in the car share space between these two companies. So that's all I've got for you for now. Obviously, I have more things up my sleeve. Give me an email. Maybe I'll tell you about them. Otherwise, I would tell you that those 4 things are looking relatively likely in this industry with varying degrees. Before I go, drop some comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on all of this. And also, click below and grab the 5 things you must do before starting a car rental business. I will catch you in the next episode. Thank you.